Hi everybody, this is Megan the Man, aka Cartoon Star 92, and welcome to my next reaction video. Today's video we're gonna watch is Explosion number 10, 2020 number 10 by Yoshi Player, and the deceptive death of being puppycat by the round table. So yeah, another round. So yeah, I've only reacted to 2 round table videos, and now I'm reacting to 3. Now I'm reacting to 3. That's awesome. But before we watch that, let's watch this review on the Angry Birds movie 2. So yeah, for those of you who don't know, the Angry Birds movie was Angry Birds is a video game that was released on iPhone back in 2009, and it was a popular game. So popular that they made a few spin-off games, a cartoon show that aired on Teletoon and mobile devices and YouTube in the US, and multiple countries on channels like Cartoon Network, and eventually it got a CGI animated movie in 2016. I was really excited for that movie once it was announced in 2014, which was the same year I was watching the Lego movie. I liked the Angry Birds movie, but then I heard it got a sequel. And after that, the sequel was released last year, and it was directed by Flapjack creator Fort Van Orman. So I can tell that the movie has some Flapjack humor in it. And Fort Van Orman had a few cameo appearances as as a couple characters. He was a duck and he was a seal. So the Angry Birds 2 movie, in my opinion, and is much better than is a very good is just as good as the original. Yeah. Yeah, and I love the new villain. Tiffany Haddish was in not just the Lego Movie 2 or the Secret Life of Pets 2, but she was also in this movie, but not a bigger role than those 2 movies I mentioned. So yeah. So anyway, let's watch. So yeah, my opinion, Angry Birds movie 2 is better than is just as good as the original. But what is Yoshi Player's thoughts on it? Let's watch in 3, 2, 1. Animation explosion.
The Angry Birds Movie 2, the sequel to the surprise hit of 2016 and another addition to the Angry Birds franchise that has still refused to die. The original animated film wasn't anything special to me. It wasn't bad, but it just didn't have anything substantial to make it worth rewatching. I mean, it certainly was a lot better than the Ratchet and Clank movie, but outside of its third act, it didn't really feel a lot like an Angry Birds movie.
I didn't
Which
really
is
like
why you
Ratchet
can
and
imagine
Clank
I
either.
wasn't really looking forward to the sequel. I wasn't dreading it, but I just wasn't interested. It was either going to be slightly better or slightly worse than before, but still fitting into the average territory. And how did it turn out? Well, it did fall into the former side of being better, but honestly in a way that I'll never forget. Ever since the first film, the birds and pigs have continued to be at war with each other until the pigs discover that a third island known as Eagle Island exists. They attempt to make a truce with the birds, but Red believes this will ruin his new image of being the island's hero. When both kinds discover that the leader of Eagle Island, Zeta, is planning to turn both islands into her own tropical resort, since Eagle Island is practically frozen, the birds and pigs now have to work together in order to stop her plans. So, what about this movie makes it better than the original, you might be wondering? Well,
Yeah,
for
how?
starters, it's a lot funnier this time around. That's not to say the original didn't have funny moments, but they were far and apart from each other. This one, meanwhile, has good jokes being delivered constantly and are just all around funny jokes in general. It's mainly the slapstick verbal humor and clever timing that get the most laughs out of me. I loved all the ways the group tried to sneak into the headquarters, specifically the scenes where they disguised themselves as a derby looking eagle. Seriously, that bathroom scene somehow got the most laughs out of me, and I'll never fully
I
forget
laughed
that.
at the
There's even
scene
a
with
really funny
with the
subplot
eagle
about a group of
disguise.
chicks going to get their eggs back. While at first it seemed to be going into Ice Age sequel territory with unnecessary cutbacks for cheap jokes, nope, that's not the case. The chicks had some of the funniest scenes in the movie in just all the creative ways they don't get the egg. One of the best elements in the original, in my opinion, were the characters, and thankfully most of them haven't changed. Well, I'd argue they're a little better now. Red's subplot does remind me a little bit of Ralph's from Ralph Breaks the Internet and how he doesn't want to lose something valuable, but it's handled way better here. Since Red has been living alone for practically his whole life and now he doesn't want to lose that, it makes sense why he'd be acting this way. Chuck and Bob, while arguably still funny in the original, don't have any moments where I was annoyed by them. But best of all, the new characters are great. The villain Zeta is amazing, despite the fact I was never intimidated by her. But
Yeah, she has a pet
new
dog that's
entrants to
frozen in
be
an
really
ice
funny
cube.
while also inspiring a good message about how not to handle relationships. And the amount of times she tries to come off as threatening but doesn't always work is funny too. So my favorite new character is easily Chuck's sister Silver. She's just adorable. I love how much of a foil she is to Red's egotistical nature, and the relationship she builds with him is really sweet. I also really like the theme this movie goes for, and that even if you and your companion seem different from each other, you should still work together as a team. Sometimes putting differences aside and working together can mean something more powerful inside. Is it cliched? A little bit, but I still find it an important message to get across. The animation is also fantastic, and I'd argue even better looking than the original. The slapstick really nails it on the head every time, almost like you're watching a Looney Tunes short. Hell, the director of
Yeah,
this movie is Thoroughban Orman, the creator of Flapjack. He really knows how to bring the comedic energy with his characters. And look at the background. Eagle Island in general just looks
yeah. Angry
gorgeous.
Birds 2
It
has a
just
lot
gives
of
me the
flapjack
kind of
humor.
winter I'd love to live in. Except without seals eating everything, of course. If I had to point out any issues with the movie, it would be that the third act does feel a little bit slow, and around the time I started to zone out. It still got funny moments, but it did follow the same old final act formula that most animated kids films fall into. Plus, while most of the jokes are really funny, obviously not all of them are going to hit. Like the one part where everyone's having a dance battle of eating pig snot. I get that this is a
Ew.
kids movie, but you didn't have to have scenes like this. Outside of that, I can easily recommend Angry Birds 2 to people that just want a funny comedy movie. It's not great, obviously, but it has enough good in it to make me say, you know what, I want to watch it again. And in a year where we had a terrible Lion King remake, it's pretty ironic to have a good Angry Birds movie right next to it. Obviously, it's better than the original. It's funnier, has better animation, more likable characters, and a decent moral that kids can get something out of. If you're looking for a fun little kids movie that isn't going to offend anyone, this is a neat one to check out.
Yeah, everybody check out this film pretty soon. Okay, next up, the deceptive death of Bee and Puppycat. So yeah, I'm gonna tell you something about Bee and Puppycat. Bee and Puppycat is an animated web series that debuted on YouTube in 2013 as a pilot episode as part of channel as part of another YouTube series, Two Cool Cartoons. For those of you who don't, so yeah, basically, by guessing from the title, Two Cool Cartoons has a similar concept to the previous VS anthology shorts. What a Cartoon, Oh Yeah Cartoons, and Random Cartoons, both compilation shows of different cartoon shorts that access pilots for future animated shows. And they did the same thing here, where the shows that got picked up were Being Puppycats and Rocket Dog. Although I don't know when Rocket Dog's gonna come out. It's been come out. They haven't said anything about the Rocket Dog series since 2015. So who knows if we'll get a proper release date for Rocket Dog pretty. So who knows if we'll get a release date for Rocket Dog. Either that or it's been cancelled. So but Being Puppycat's still going on. After the pilot got popular on they did a Kickstarter for the series in 20 later that year, and it was very popular on Kickstarter. It got a lot of backers, and eventually the first episode of Being Puppycat premiered in 2014. The first 4 episodes premiered, then it took a hiatus break, a very long one. It lasted from 20 the episode left The hiatus break lasted from 2015 to 26, all the way up to 2016 when episodes resumed on the Verb streaming service. Bravest Warriors also took a hiatus break with season 3, and eventually it ended up on Verb as well. That's even longer than Rick and Morty. So yeah, the when they aired the final episodes of Being Puppy Cat season 1, it was they had to combine the episodes together into one episode. That's kind of weird. But yeah. And eventually they're doing a Being Puppy Cat sequel series that was supposed to come out last year but got delayed. And I'm guessing the sequel series is season 2, and it's pretty much similar to Bravest Warriors season 4 where it's animated in a different animation studio. So Bravest because I know Bravest Warriors is animated at Nelvana, the same company that did Ruby Gloom, 16, Clone High, etc. Yeah. And it's flash animated like most cartoons animated in Canada nowadays. I know most 2D animated cartoons in Canada nowadays are flash animated. I mean, come on, that's worse than most animated movies in theaters CG animated. I mean, come on. Can't you just go back to traditional animated stuff? Oh, well, I'm getting off topic. Anyway, well, at least the Being Puppy Cat season 2 wasn't animated in Flash, and it's still animated traditionally, but has a different art style to it, similar to the Amazing World Gumball, where it kept its same animation process, where it kept its same animation software, but changed art style in that season. So let's take a look at the Being Puppy. So let's take a look at the deceptive death of Being Puppy Cat of the YouTube series Being Puppy Cat in 3, 2, 1.
Hello everyone, my name is Tom.
Hi, Tom.
That's not appropriate. I shouldn't be sharing my actual feelings with the real world. Welcome to Let's Talk Tom, the show where I talk about anything in animation that I want to talk about. Today, I want to talk about Being Puppycat because
yeah, I haven't reacted to a lot of Let's Talk with Tom episodes. I have seen a lot of them. He talked about live action shows on Cartoon Network.
I find that intriguing.
Because I know Cartoon Network did live action stuff from 2006 to 2014. They stopped when Christina Miller put an end to this. It's nice she ended live action on Cartoon Network.
That fandom is also small. It's relatively small. And it almost feels like the show feels unknown.
How is it unknown? Feelings? What?
Not a lot of people really talk about it because it seems like there's not a lot to talk about on the surface. Being Puppycat seems to be about nothing and accomplish very little. But then there's also a lot of lore, and the mundane, everyday things just kind of happening actually add up into a pretty profound story about love and loss. When I first watched this, I felt like there was nothing to talk about, but then once I took a deeper look, there's actually a lot. But I guess if you're gonna dive deep into anything, you should probably start at the surface. So on the surface, Being Puppycat is a very calm and fluffy show. It's kind of like a lo-fi cartoon, kind of like I said about Summer Camp Island. It's about the quiet life of a millennial woman and her pet slash roommate, who is a dog slash cat, and she's living modestly, working temp.
Yeah, it's weird how Puppy Cat is a pet and a roommate.
And his name is Decker. Basically, they're just friends who seem to care very deeply about each other, and sometimes it seems like maybe that's more than just platonic. And the only reason I chalk it up to being that much is because at one point, Decker's sister, Kat, straight up acknowledges, like, yo, y'all clearly like each other. And it's not protested. It's not like, oh, nah, it's not like that, bro. She just not.
Nah, bro, nah.
And the thing about the show is that you gotta kind of understand when watching. Everything is pretty literal. Like, if something is said in dialogue, that's just like a rule. Like, if they say something flat out, you can usually assume that's the case. That's the writing telling
the case.
A thing about their relationship. So keep that in mind. But there's nothing serious going on. And at no point in this show they establish that there's anything serious between them. And like I said, they're pretty straightforward about things. So if there was, we would know. And I get that situation. Because I did that a lot as a teenager, where you're like, okay, we clearly like each other, but we're not gonna commit to anything. In my experience, from what I've seen, being on Earth for as long as I have, relationships usually either happen really fast, where it's like you meet each other, you figure things out, and then bam, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever. But in our cases,
Bam!
things tend to go very slowly, and there's rarely really an in between. Usually, if you figure things out and you go forward, or
Sorry, I was
it
thinking
takes
about
a
that
long
emerald
time, and
guy.
you're like, okay, let's see what happens. And usually, this is portrayed in
It's more
fiction
like, let's
in
see what
that
happens
I
next.
prefer this because it's more realistic compared to a will they won't they, which will they won't they I feel like really warps the perception of how relationships happen for most people because they're like, oh, if I like someone, I just gotta wait for something spectacular to happen that will bring us together and tell us how we feel. And it's like, nah, speak up, bro. Like, you gotta communicate how you feel. You can't just be like off in the corner, like, oh man, I sure hope I end up with that person one day, but I'm not gonna actually do anything to make that happen. But more often than
Yeah,
not,
he does have a point there.
it's gonna be like this, where you're like, hey, we both know what's up. We're not really ready to commit to anything, and if it happens, it happens. And if it don't, it don't. And sometimes it do, sometimes it don't. Apparently, Google thought I was talking to it. Let's see. Okay, this is actually funny.
What's
I
funny?
wouldn't acknowledge this, but Google on my phone picked up what I'm saying. And some related things are how do you get into a relationship, intimacy issues, commitment
What?
issues, hot and cold relationships. What can you do? Restaurants nearby, play a game, find flights. Like my phone strap is like, yo, you got issues. That's funny. My apparently I must have said something that sounded like, okay, Google. Yeah, yeah, that's what happened. And that just picked that up, and it was like, bro, are you okay? But the reason that this happens, instead of just going straight into a relationship, is usually because y'all know how each other feel. I don't know if that's proper grammar. Y'all know how each other feel. Just make that saying, put that on a t-shirt. Y'all know how each other feel.
Y'all know how
Maybe
each other
it's
feel.
not the
What?
best idea to commit to something at the stage of life you're in. Maybe you're in school. Maybe you're in between jobs, in between stages. You're about to do something really big with your life. The future for you is unclear. So it's unclear if that person will be able to fit into your life. So instead of actually like saying, yo, we're gonna be this thing, you just kind of spend time with that person and do the relationship stuff that you would normally do, but without any real commitment. And you're just like, okay, like let's see what happens. For example, in this situation, Deckard was trying to make a choice between finding happiness where he's at in life, which is depressed in a job that doesn't challenge him, but he's also passionate about, and just like moving forward with that with the silver lining of being in a relationship with B potentially, or he could leave it all behind and go off to go to culinary school where he can really expand on that passion at the cost of leaving everyone that he cares about behind, including his best friend and any potential they might have of being more than that, which he does. And I really like how it's handled because usually in fictional situations like this, they don't really go with what the logical choice would be. They usually go with the choice based in fantasy because in fantasy you want to believe like, okay, like I make this sacrifice to be with this person and then we live happily ever after and that's all fine. But that's not really realistic. Like fictional characters always want to pull the love over everything card. And I hate to break the magic, but usually stories end once they make that decision because it's not a sustainable one. Expecting your relationship to give your life fulfillment in place
Oh, he
of
does
your
have a point
passions
there.
is not fair to your relationship. It's not fair to the person you're in a relationship with. It's putting a bunch of stress
I used to be in a
from
relationship with
outside
Tristan until
factors
we
of
broke up
you
last
not
year.
trying to be happy with yourself, and
Oh
then
yeah,
you
I
bring
haven't told
that
you
into
about
a
Tristan
relationship
yet.
because whoever is
I'll
a
probably tell
romantic
you in
or
a
platonic
DeviantArt
or any type of
thing.
relationship, if you are making sacrifices that compromise yourself on a regular basis, like really compromise yourself beyond reason. Like in this case, where you're just like, oh, I'm not gonna be happy with my life. I'm going to continue to be depressed to be with this person. Your relationship starts with you. So just by doing that, you're setting up your foundation to collapse. And again, it's even explicitly stated by Deckard's sister Cass when she says, you know, if you're putting off on going and doing this thing that's going to make you happy for the sake of potentially being in a relationship with B, then that's really not fair to either of you, and neither of you are going to be happy. And she even straight up says, like, I don't think she would want that for you. So in this
Yeah,
case,
that's true.
it made the most sense for Deckard to go do what he's passionate about and create a situation where he feels like he can truly be happy in his life instead of thinking that a relationship with B would solve all of his problems. Which B is aware of this situation, and she starts connecting the dots that Deckard is avoiding applying for culinary school. And it's hard for her because why would he not want to go and do that thing that's going to make him happy? Oh, It's because of me. It's me. I'm enabling him to not be happy. That sucks. Which is especially rough because whenever the topic comes up, she openly shows support for him going and doing that. She encourages him to go and do that because she knows that's what's going to make him happy. And she also expresses to him that even though she will be sad when he's gone, she would want him to go and do what he loves, which he ends up doing. He decides to apply and leave her school to be a change for the better. He now has a sense of purpose, and you can tell that's a really positive step for him moving forward. But there's also no melancholy loss in the fact that he is leaving behind all the important people in his life, including B. And now, we can really dive deep on her. B is a bit more than just a young woman living with her puppycat in a modest lifestyle, working temp job to temp job. She's getting by with temp jobs that have extraordinary and fantastic twists.
Yeah, she basically uses temp jobs to help her earn money.
Dimensions and worlds that have their own weird rules. But even these crazy adventures seem to maintain a pretty laid-back, easygoing tone as the rest of the show does, with some exceptions. And the reason why P is able to do all this is because she is low-key a cyborg, or an android, or a robot. We're not exactly sure. It's something like that. And we believe that there was a human bee at one point, but not anymore. And Puppycat, we don't really know what his deal is for sure. Something about getting catfished by a princess and turned into a cat-dog hybrid monster thing. Be a curse. His curse is he doing that.
Yeah, in the pilot episodes reveals that
is open to
Puppycat is a human turned into a cat dog hybrid.
We get in these mundane situations because again, it's just very, very low key. The story's just very low key. It's just like day to day, not crazy aside from sometimes it's not enough jokes. I have depression. We do know that B is some sort of synthetic.
You do have a
We
crush,
know that
don't you?
her father is not around anymore, and she had a very close relationship with her father. And he left her a mechanical box called the Dad Box that would make her feel less lonely on her birthday. And in the last episode, we see her using it to repair her robot arm after it was damaged in a temp job. So yeah, there's a lot going on with that box and that whole relationship there. And my guess is that B either passed away or she got terminally ill. Well, she definitely got terminally ill. B's dad was a scientist. Her father had to use his technical knowledge to try and save her, and he either failed, and now it's like an Astro Boy situation where she's a robot replica of his daughter who has all of her memories and mental existence and cognizance, or she's a cyborg, and he had to make her a cyborg in order for her to survive after the illness had like destroyed her body or whatever. I guess it's probably the latter, where she's a cyborg or android, because she still does things like eating, drinking, doing human things.
Yeah, she's probably a
So I would
cyborg or an
assume
android.
that means she's at least part human. But also, I don't know the rules of this world. Maybe robots eat normal human food in this universe. I don't know. The main lead for this theory is that B does directly mention that she got very sick when she was young, and her dad was taking care of her, and it got to the point where she couldn't even go outside. So we know it was serious. And whatever happened to B's father happened with enough foresight that he could make this box to both make her feel less lonely and just kind of generally try to look after her after he was gone. And whatever did happen, it happened a while ago. We see her dad's old arcade, and it looks very run down, like nobody's looked after it for a few decades at least.
Yeah, it looked like death. Yeah, it looked like nobody's taken care for like a few decades or years.
And that's
I don't know.
implied by both that and
Let's just say years.
And yes, I know. Literally, the character is saying that meant, isn't it strange that she hasn't matured? Like they're calling her immature. However, like I said, they say things to communicate things to the audience very literally. So I'm assuming that they literally mean like the text to the viewer, she hasn't aged. Because they do that a lot. Like for example, at one point Deckard comments that he is really heavy, like her bones are made of metal. And then lo and behold, we see her bones are in fact made of metal. So it talks about the fact that she hasn't grown up, coupled with the fact that we know that she's not.
She's basically a robot.
The fact that it seems like she's been around a lot longer than someone who was portrayed to be in her early 20s probably makes some assumptions there. Probably start connecting some dots. But that does imply something more to the situation with Deckard, because maybe this isn't the first time that this has happened, where she gets close to someone only for them to outgrow her and then go on to do something else with her life. Maybe because she's had a hard time growing up mentally through the trauma of losing her father, or maybe she's afraid of alienation. She's afraid to open up to people because she either thinks that she's going to be ostracized Or maybe she had a past experience where she opened up to people that made her believe that if people knew the truth about what she was and who she was, the truth about her makes her less worthy of relationships with people. Because going back to that situationship with her and Deckard, we know why Deckard is not trying to make, but that's clearly not a one-way thing. That's clearly a mutual thing, which that's the only way that stuff works. If one person is like, "Yo, let's commit," the other person's like, maybe not. That's not good. That's unhealthy. Like, move on. We know why Deckard is unsure about it, but why is B unsure about it? It's probably the expectation, and therefore the desire for B to see Deckard go on and pursue his woman. She has probably come to accept that and learns to appreciate them all that like Deckard, they'll go on to do something that'll make them happier. And she probably wasn't expecting Deckard to even consider staying with her. And the fact that he was go than it usually would be, even though she knew, or at least the last scene of season 1, which as of now is the last scene of the show, because I don't know what's happening with season 2.
Here's what I don't know.
Demeanor has changed a lot from what we've come to expect. Usually she would be bubbly and energetic, but now she's calm and reserved. She's not hysterical. She doesn't seem sad. She's just very out of character, but not in a way that's like misrepresenting her. It's in a way to tell us as the audience that something is wrong. She's coping with the fact that she knows that she just lost her best friend, but she seems like she's already accepted. It hurts, but she's moving on because what else can she do? It's though she's done this before. She spent enough time warning friends that she genuinely believes will be better off without her, and now she's just numb to it. She doesn't cry anymore. She doesn't wish to bargain. She just tries to let go and move on. So I'm really intrigued to see what a season 2 might be. Whenever that comes out, if it's, I don't know. There are a lot of ways that this story can go, and that makes it really interesting. And it's so interesting that show that presents itself. It's just very surface level, easygoing, easy watching. It's actually layered enough to have all these different ways that things can go. It proposes so many different questions about who these characters are and how their stories are going to play out. That's all I gotta say. But before we roll the outro, honestly, drops March 13th. I don't know if this is gonna come out before or after that. I can't. This is in a weird pocket of time. But you can find that on my YouTube channel, EPQM Productions, or my SoundCloud of the same name. Check it out. I worked really hard on it. I've been working on it since like August or September. No, it's been August. That's right.
I'm gonna check out your channel.
It was definitely August. So yeah, I've been working on it for a minute. So definitely go and support that if you want to or not. I won't be offended. I just worked really hard on it. I've done enough self promotion. Roll the outro. Thank you so much for watching us talk for time on the roundtable. If you haven't already, please subscribe and hit the bell for notifications so you never miss a video. And of course, if you enjoyed the video, make sure you give it a like, and you can comment down below to give us your thoughts. Or you can find us at Roundtable Vids on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Or you can find me at TommyBQM on Tumblr, Twitter, and Instagram. If you want to go above and beyond to support the Roundtable, you can click the join button down below to become a channel member. Or you can pledge to us on Patreon, link in the description. And you can even support us by checking out our Teespring, where you can get shirts like this and many more to rep us out in public. As always, my name is Tom. I hope you have an awesome day, and I'll see you next time. See ya.
Okay, bye. Well, that was a really good deceptive death of being puppycat. I didn't say death, I said death. Depth. Yeah. I don't know when Sleepy in Space or Season 2 is starting, but hopefully soon. They delayed it like last year. I mean, come on! Why are you delaying it? Oh well. But anyway, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.